All right, guys, what's up? We are back and live playing with Shashibo. All right. Sorry about that. I had to get Instagram and, well, both of our Instagram accounts working. What's up, David? What's up? Back and playing with Shashibo. Oh, I did want to show you a little fun thing with Octa. I mean, it's a simple enough connection. It's just double diamonds, but depending on where you put the hinge, you can kind of have something like this that holds together while you still operate it on both axes. Simple and fun. But it's, just a bunch of the portal, the kind of cube-ish home, and then putting a bunch of these double diamonds in between those cubes so you have it hinged on both axes. I think it's kind of fun. King Ravana's in the chat. Yeah, is in the chat. What's up, guys? Welcome, welcome. Good to have you back. It's been way too long. So glad to be back in the stream. Anybody find anything fun in the last... Dude, the Discord has been popping today. I'm loving it. Last 2 days. So much stuff going on. All of these awesome explorations. Hey, Kimba's in the chat. Good evening. Welcome, welcome. Oh, sorry, I totally spaced on letting the Discord know, guys. I'm so sorry. That is silly of me. Here. Let me let them know we're live real quick, the rest of the peeps. Atlantis and Infinity Shashibo soon. Yeah. I didn't get permission to show you guys those in the live yet. I wish I could, though. Don't worry, they look nice. I've been really liking this kind of donut combo. Just the kind of cube ring, square ring. It's when you take both halves of the opening and bring them around the back, like so, and just let that open up. Lots of cool things that you can do with that. It's delicate for sure, but it's a really tight fit. But you can get the portal to fit just perfectly in the middle. I think we should call it the mini donut or something. Maybe the portal donut. Ask now. Yeah, guys, I'll be back on the live in a few minutes. You guys will see him soon enough. You guys will see him soon enough. Have no fear. Kimba found a new first and amazing geometric shape, three-way stingray linked together, and then repeat 4 times total. Love that result. That is a great 12 Shashibo build, my friend. I love that one. I have a guess as to which one you're talking about. There's a couple of ways to put stingrays together, but pretty much whichever way you put them together, you end up with the same 12 Shashibo result unless you do something funky. So, if my guess is right, we took the stingray shape here, made a couple more of those. Let's swap this one. And we connected them like so. All at the head. Boom. To make this unit, which is just a really nice one. I mean, look at not just the lovely colors, but that really sharp imagery. And before we get sidetracked too much, I want to just sort of point out that you would repeat this 4 times and connect them all around this point. However, I did just remember that I want to show you guys one of my favorite combinations with 4 Shashibo here. I'm going to use the UFO, and we're not going to change a thing about these. I'm just going to take it apart and slot my UFO right through that opening of the stingray, and then connect these stingrays the same way that I just had them connected. And that is just a really satisfying fit right there. I mean, that UFO is just locked in there. And you can see it really nice, especially if I use a different color. Donut is definitely a snug fit. Yes. Yeah, it's like it's a second. I wanted to make the donut in a video that I shot just the other day, and I was kind of frustrated with like how hard it was to just get it in there cleanly in one take. But there you go, Kimba. You can add just one more in there and have that really solid fit, which is fun. I wonder if there are other ways that we could change that. Like by making it a mosquito. And connecting all of our mosquitoes around, like so. And then taking a ball and just placing that in there ends up being pretty much the same thing. Just not quite as tight of a connection. And that's one of the things that I really like about Shashibo is figuring out all the different ways to make those things work together. Now, I will say one of my favorite things to do with stingrays is to take 2 of those stingrays and take this kind of pointy part of the stingray and this one and get those lined up like so. So that one is kind of hooking around the other. Just like that. And then they are practically woven together and now fully intertwined as you close it up into that ball, that woven ball. Super fun combo. Plus, it's got another ability where I can actually take this hinge right down the middle, just this top section, and have that fold forward. And do that same thing with this one. Nice and gentle, no need to force it. You make this really cool woven crystal. I think somebody called it Zeus's bolt. I like that. TikTok wants to see the dice pattern. We actually have 2 dice patterns. Oh, goodness. Oh, no. I don't have any dice Shashibo on me. What's going on? TikTok, I'm so sorry. Man, I must have my dice Shashibo in my office. That's crazy. That's my bad, guys. I'm so sorry. TikTok, we'll be live on Friday. Ask me on Friday, and I will probably have dice patterns. I'm sorry to miss you on that one. The time crystal weave. I like that, King Ravana. That's a good name for it. That is a good name for it. Man, I can't believe I don't have any dice around me. Sorry, guys. I'm got sidetracked by that, but man, I just love exploring with these guys. I mean, all of the little twisting, winding journeys that it'll take you down. I've been playing with this thing for 4 years, and I still get sidetracked by little shapes and patterns. This is one of my favorites right here. Jacob has a great question. Just came from TikTok. Thanks for hanging out. Yeah, if you are on TikTok and leaving comments, it's harder for me to see them quickly, so hop over to YouTube or Twitch, which those streams support us a little bit better anyway. But Jacob is saying you've got 4 Shashibo Octa, and I'm so excited. That's awesome, dude. Are they similar size to Duomodo? Is Octa similar size to Duomodo? No, not really. So Duomodo kind of exists in its own magnetic universe, we'll say, okay? So if Shashibo is one magnetic universe, Duomodo is its own. It has some geometrical similarities, but because the magnets are in different places, it does not connect with Shashibo. And Duomodo is the same like volume of a Shashibo. It's a little bit more volume than an Octa. See how the Octa is kind of like missing the top and bottom of the cube, so it isn't technically a cube. Duomodo is really cool. It's fun to fidget with. It has these 2 different pieces that fold independently and then connect to fold other stuff. Super fun to play with. Because the pieces are small, it's tough to like build really big very quickly. You can build some really cool stuff with this, don't get me wrong. You just don't get very large very quickly. So lots of fun to mess around with, a little bit more fidgety because it flows differently, and it's a completely unique geometry to Shashibo. It's got its own stuff going on as far as that goes. So Duomodo is a lot of fun, but if you already have Octa, I'd get the OG Shashibo next. Because that is still fully compatible with the Octa. Shashibo and Octa exist within the same magnetic universe. You can find all kinds of ways to get these things connected. One of our favorites in the Discord lately, which you should join if you are not in there already, one of our favorites in the Discord has been this we're calling the Schooner, which is a really great name. Looks a little like a sailboat too. But it's this in-between shape that you can get to with Octa, and it has that really nice connection with Shashibo. And there are so many shapes in Shashibo that present themselves with that it's just pretty much endless when you're exploring with the connections. That's been a fun one. What's a fun build with 4 of the Octa? Classic, I would say, is to make 2 of these double diamonds. Okay, which we're going to do by taking one of our Octa. You see how it has these 2 sides, one that closes when you open it, and the other one that you're opening it from, essentially. Take those 2 halves and just bring them all the way back, flat against each other like so, to make the double diamond. And then the other shape that we're going to make is a shape called the bloom. the blossom, I think. This shape right here. Sorry, I spaced on the name of it for just a second. But that is this guy, which is really close. But instead of closing it up when we open it up from the cube, we're actually going to fold that section back and then this one so that we make this really cool kind of 4-pointed shape. And we're going to do both of those shapes twice. So we're going to make 2 double diamonds and we're going to make 2 of those blooms. There we go. And so I am going to, you can kind of just figure it out by spinning the thing around until it connects, but you're essentially taking the ridge right down here and connecting it right on top like that. And you can take two of those and get them merged to make this really cool octahedron, which is fun because these are called octa. So we're just taking each of these sections, layering them on top of each other until we have made that full octahedron. That's one of my favorite things to do with 4. And it is a beautiful pattern, especially if you have 4 of the same design like I am fortunate enough to have. So I'm going to make it just a touch more satisfying with some color coordination. There we go. Oh, a nice little Atlantis octa. Oh. Then I'll do one for infinity as well. Very nice. And then, of course, you could continue to combine those. Super fun. What's another good 4 octa build? Well, I do just like taking actually 4 of those blooms that we just made. Hey, Wavy's in the chat. What's up, my friend? Welcome, welcome. And if I take all 4 of these, I can connect them around that centralized point, side to side, just like so. And you get this really beautiful. And if you're lucky enough to have 6, throw a couple more in there. And then you get a fully stellated dodecahedron, which is really nice. 2 schooners is a great one. Especially because, if I remember correctly, there's more than one way to get that one connected. Yeah, 2 octa. Let's see. If I have 2 schooners, and you notice how when I make that, I make the double diamond and I kind of twist it. You can twist it in 2 ways. It's a chiral shape, so you can get it left or right oriented depending on what you need. So if you're going for a mirrored version like I am right now, you're going to want 1 of each. And then you can just kind of connect these back to back like so. And one of the things that I like about this is while it's a satisfying... Oh, excuse me, just a moment. Let me get that reconnected here. It's satisfying on its own, but you can actually also continue to shift them while they're connected. Have it collapse down like that. And take 2 of these and put them back to back. I mean, the bloom and the blossom work really well together. So this shape that we made where we tucked these sections back and away, if you instead bring them forward and connect them, and you get this different shape right here. And you can connect those to make a really nice, a nice mesh. One of my favorites from our very own back in the chat makes the falcon, which from this portal here we're going to take this section as we open it and kind of fold it back like so and push this section forward to make our falcon. And for what we call the puppy, you're kind of in a similar neighborhood. I like to open it from here and let it fold out like this. And then you can kind of see you're going to make one of these halves the head of the puppy and you're going to fold the other one back. And so I am going to fold this one back to make that half the head for the puppy. Oop. And that is one of the ways of getting to those shapes. And then you can take the puppy and just slot it right in there to make that really cool combination. Back to Schooner Star is top notch for sure. For sure. PF Flyer is a decent 2-octa shape. I don't know if I know the PF Flyer. Maybe that's the one that I just did. Let's see. I did want to go back before we moved on to 2-octa shapes. I really like this 4-octa shape. Which involves making another chiral shape, but this time in the same chirality instead of mirroring it. This is what happens when you just kind of twist the cube open. But you can see how you can kind of change the angle of that thing by pivoting these. You can make it one-sided or two-sided even. Or you can make it one-sided on either side even. But in this case, we're just going to want to make sure that we are going in the same chirality the whole way around, which is this one. And then we get that really cool kind of pinwheel. Looks nice around the sides as well. These are all really cool combinations that you can do with Octa. And right now on our website, Fun in Motion Toys, Octa is available for 20% off if you get 4 of them at once. So if you're looking to double your collection, or even just start yours with a new one, now is a great time to get some Octa. Same with Shashibo. We are running some crazy discounts, guys. I've never seen stuff like this, including up to 30% off if you get 6 or more Shashibo. So take advantage of that stuff. Because the more of these you have, the more you can do, as you can see. There's a QR code right down there if you want to buy them. Let's see. Oh, I always like that. Looks like a really complex shape, and you can just kind of twist it closed. That's so satisfying. Just that click and clack. And you know, I always wish that I had more time to play with stuff like this. So let's find some new things together. That's a 4-octa shape. And if I rotate these pieces, and I can actually fold it back like this. Oop. What the heck's going on here? Where's my hinge? There it is. Ooh, I know something I could do here. Well, let me put both of them together first. Nice. Look at that. That is 6-octa all at once. 30% off right now. Some crazy deals. And I can even take a couple more. And maybe I can get them to connect in the middle here. Oh, that seemed to do the trick. No, it didn't. It just didn't repel. Well, in that case, I think I know a solution, which is to make this shape right here and slot that down in there. Perfect. That's been something that I'm still in the learning process with Octa. Is it has a different magnetism a little bit than like it's compatible with Shashibo, but the way that you tell which direction the magnets are facing is tricky. Super fun. So you fit the blossom right in there. Any name for that shape with the off-center bow tie? I think it might have been a while ago. By the way, yeah, what Fun and Motion Toys is saying is real. We are maxed out working on stuff right now, so there's a ton of stuff that we want to do, but we just don't have time for. That won't stop us from doing all we can, though. I really like this. I'm trying to see which parts of it I can take apart with and have it still hold together. Perfect. So I can take these blossoms or whatever out. Oh, but it doesn't magnetically hold. That's kind of interesting. Okay, so if I put the blossoms back in, and instead take these guys off, oh my goodness, these outside guys off, we're all hunky-dory. Okay, so then I could take a couple of these and make them into some double diamonds. Oh, man, I'm learning so much, guys. I cannot do that because look, there's that space is already filled in. That's where the corner of the double diamond would have to go right there. Oh, the like bow tie shape. Yeah, I need to get better about learning names, guys. I just learned shapes. Names are so much harder. Same with people. I know everything about y'all, but names are tricky. You can kind of twist. I mean, it wanted to stay connected there. Wait, that's cool. Look at that. See, this is the stuff that you don't find on purpose. You have to stumble across it. So I have it connected on the outside of the blossom there, and I just twist it down. Let's make another one of those, potentially. I wonder if I could just build them in series, taking the bloom, getting it connected in there, building my eye, double eye, that's what that is called. But you don't want it to just fold down to the side, do you? Felt like the other one was in a kind of different shape. How do I get it like that? You know, guys, that is interesting. So we're making this shape. We're getting it connected on either side of the blossom, just like we did. Is that the same, or is that just the opposite chirality that I just did? Yeah, I just needed it to twist it the other way. Okay, so there's two of those sections. Connect them back to back, like, oops. Thanks, Cassandra. I mean, I know you're here for it. "2026 Shashibo Designs Brainstorm." Yeah, man, we got to get more people in this fire. I want to see what's going to happen if I try and do a chain of them. Okay. That's kind of cool. Wow, that's so close to connecting. And I think the angle is just a tad off. And I think that what would fix that angle oh, guys. All right, I think I lost it a little bit. Not entirely, just a piece of it. Ooh. How about that? Oh, guys, I'm so close. Do I just need another one? Do I have another one? I think I've used all of my octa. Shoot. Somebody with more. See if you can kind of complete this. Because I think all you need is two more. One more double eye here, and then another one of these like seed pod things, double diamonds. That's so close. Dang. Yeah, somebody with more than me, post a picture of that finished, because I want to see it sooner than when I end up getting more. Cassandra is the best. Thank you. Doesn't it look cool? I mean, that's so neat. It's all of these like wedges, kind of slightly off kilter, and I'm so close to finishing it. But I need to know if it works. Get this man 12 octa. I'm trying. Hey, Chill Cadence in the chat. What's up, dude? Aw, thanks, King Ravana. I appreciate it. Put a schooner in it, and you can attach UFOs, ice cream cones, parrot goblins. Yeah, anything with that. The schooner attaches to anything with this 90 degree on the opposite of this 180 degree, right? So we've got this 180 degree angle right here. Anything on the back of, you know, we've got cube side and basically, I don't know, star side, I guess. So anything with that point, anywhere that it presents itself in any of the numerous shapes that have it or variations that have it. Shark fin. What was some of the others you said? You said, I mean, anything with this going on. There's a few shapes around that. The dog for sure. Pirate goblin. Oh my word, just make it. There it is. Dog would be an interesting one to build off of with the schooner. I'm obsessed with this, though. I'm obsessed with this connection. Because you can also pivot it on that hinge. And I could take something like the shark fin. Look at that. Guys, this is the best toy, okay? We did it. We did it. We made it. Shashibo is just full of all of this exploration, this deep dive into geometry, polarity and magnetism, spatial awareness, pattern recognition, problem-solving skills, not just between one or two Shashibo, but between the whole family, whether that is a couple of Shashibo put together, shape-shifting into bigger, better things, or taking some Shashibo squared to throw that in there so you can build bigger faster while exploring that brand new geometry, or just finding simple ways that you can get little flourishes and attachments going with all of the compatible family. It's so fun. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? That's just 3 different geometries. Chill Caden learned how to make Thomas's box. Let's go. Nice job, dude. You have definitely unlocked the next level, you know? If you guys are enjoying the stream and you don't want Chill Caden to be so sad, drop some likes. Share with a friend. We appreciate all of the support, even if it isn't buying something, okay? Ooh, I don't think I have added that into the schooner yet. Let's try that. Let's try that out. Oh, Wavy Those working on a squared collection. Yeah, man. It's a great one. That's nice. So if I mean I don't want to name stuff after weaponry and such. But I will say that if we're building all of these spikes on top of the schooner, I want to call this the Man of War, you know? Just makes sense. It also looks kind of like I don't know, you know those like sand crawlers that are propelled by wind? Looks a little bit like that. Ooh, I need some well, just threw one of my octa away on accident. The porcupine. I like the porcupine. That's a good name for it. Boom. That's kind of fun. Thanks, Jill Caden. I appreciate the 5 likes, my friend. We are now 5 steps closer to our goal of total world domination. The hedgehog is pretty cool. I like porcupine. I think I prefer the name. Maybe I just prefer to say porcupine over hedgehog, you know? I got nothing against hedgehogs. Not sure what to add on there. Maybe this guy? That's always a fun one. There's just so many options. The alliteration is alluring. I see. Love me some alliteration. Okay. Open these up into lockjawed stars. That's also very fun. I can make another schooner. I just need to make it a mirrored schooner to the one that I have below, which I believe I have done. Yes. That's nice. Ooh. You know what I want to try? I'm going to keep those schooners. I'm going to invert that. Okay, so I've got this kind of movable square kind of thing. Hey guys, sorry about that. I don't know what happened. Am I able to be seen and heard by everybody? It just kicked me suddenly. Okay, it made me rejoin as a guest, so I'm not sure what's up with that. But as long as we're still live, we're still live. Sorry about that, everybody. How exciting. So where we were when we last left off was I was going to add some schooners to these shapes right here. Ooh. There's a little hint as to why. I thought it would be cool to add them to this particular shape. Oh, yes. That's so fun. Now, it doesn't close on either end because you can see it runs into the octa, but I mean, that's so fun. I mean, it might even qualify some new shapes. We might find new connections that we didn't know about before. I needed my octa that I dropped earlier. And for our next trick, Ezra disappeared. Yeah. Dude, it happens to the best of us. It happens to the best of us, you know? We, every once in a while, you just mid shapeshift absolutely teleport through time and space. It's crazy. Oh, nice, guys. All right, I'm gonna do I'm gonna make what I just made again. Which is to take these shapes and the schooner and get them hooked on like so. There we go. And I found out last time that it would be easier to get it connected and then combine the halves. And there we go. And that should allow me, beautiful. That whole thing now shifts. Oh, that's so fun. And it gives me a couple questions about what you could do with stuff like that in zero gravity Shashibo builds, man. JT said, don't make that last shape again. Yeah, man. That was a tricky one. Oh, Chill Caden, thanks for hanging out. Have a good night, my friend. The schooner is not the E shape. Great question, Wavy, though. Let's talk about it. So the E is going to come from making the double diamond and opening it in a slightly different way, okay? So from this shape right here, we're going to take those two sections that we open it from, pull them straight back into this double diamond shape. And instead of opening the double diamond with a twist, we actually need to open the double diamond into the square ring to change up its geometry first so that we have this brand new way of opening it like so. See, this won't actually twist. This one will not twist. In this geometric orientation, it's really the same geometry and it has a similar magnetism, but not the same in either sense. The geometry and the magnetism operate a little bit differently depending on which way you close that square ring, okay? So when we close it this way, we have we are taking those two sections that we opened the shape with and having them connect directly together. Whereas the other way, we are taking those two sections and we're pinching them closed. And that is how we get to our E shape, by opening it slightly, just like so, to get that shape, which is different from our schooner, which we get by twisting it in the other geometry. I'll show you those next to each other. Both loose shapes and both with really cool connections. I've shown you a couple of the connections with the schooner, but let's talk about a couple that you can do with the E. These ones are delicate always because of the fact that you are just using one magnet per octa to get them all connected. But it does hold solid, even if it is fragile, once you get all three put together end to end like so. A couple ways that you can connect this shape, of course. That's one of them. And a really nice one. Look at that backside. Oops. Like I said, fragile. But we saw that connection. And so one of the others is on that back side. Okay? So that is a little bit nicer because we have a few more magnets holding it all together. Perfect. And we get just some beautiful geometry. And these colors, again, just make it all pop. I love it. If I remember correctly, there's another way that you can connect these. But I don't remember exactly what that is right off the top of my head. So if I found another way, it's in another video somewhere. Two schooners on a pirate goblin make a cool crown. Okay, we'll have to try that out sometime. Linking the double I and double diamond can get chaotic past 8. Linking the double I and the double diamond. That's the double diamond. And we got to figure out a way to identify between those two geometries because we can't call them both the double diamond. Uh-oh. The double diamonds. You know what, chat? If you got a suggestion on how to differentiate between the two, I am open to suggestions. JT, would you mind getting rid of that Twitch comment? But I'm going to assume this double diamond where we take the two ends and bring them face to face. Wasn't one the pod. Okay, well, so I think that what we're getting... So the double diamond is this loose shape. The pod was when it was like connected like this. And the different geometries that I'm talking about are when you switch your double diamond from having these two tabs face in to actually having them pinched together this way. Because you can see that when you open it up like this, it's a different geometry as opposed to this. And it has a different magnetic relevance, I believe, because they're facing different directions. The cluster and diamond? Maybe. Maybe. I'll have to think about that one. I mean, that's a really nice connection. Is that the connection that you're thinking of between the two, or are you thinking like when you actually put a double diamond in the thing? Yeah, the hinge difference on the diamond is a bit confusing. Yeah, did you just test that it's a different magnetism? Yeah, for sure. Hey, how about that? I know what I'm talking about sometimes. Can't fit one on the bloom for the tetra. That right there, I don't think I had really put together in my head until now, is not the same dense. This is denser for sure, but same shape as the treasure chest. Interesting. How are you building with 8? You need 12 sooner than later for that build. Yeah. Working with what I got, my friend. And honestly, just extrapolating. I spent enough time looking at this geometry to be able to kind of guess what it can do, but that's why I like these lives so much, is that it's one of the rare times that I get to just sit down and play with it, you know? Oh, that's so nice. Does that spin well? Does it hold together? No. Not much. Put the gnome on the octa one. You got it, friend. You got it. You know, I was thinking about it too. I don't know why I didn't just do it. We'll get a couple gnomes in there. That octa treasure chest has a shape saddle. Yeah, I like that, a shape saddle. Boom. Very nice. Oh, I just realized a potential thing that I could do. Yeah, guys. So look, I can see that I've got this flat connection right here, 180 degrees across that. And so, since I have a similar angle right here, I think I can make kind of a cool pillar. Just means that I'm taking apart my cool movable build over there. But, you know, that's what it costs. The prices we pay for shapes, man. Yeah, so I can make another gnome. There's the base, and then I'm just going to make a few more gnomes on top. You could also make the same thing with the spade. Since the spade is just taking the gnome and pivoting on that hinge, often when you repeat those shapes, you end up getting something that looks similar to when you repeated the other. Maybe that's the right way of saying that. I don't know. We'll see in the edits. Cool pillar. What did I tell you? Oh, you didn't see that? You didn't see that? Oh, but I could just take those out of the equation and have that really nice pillar, which is, of course, just 4 blooms back to back, a shape that we looked at earlier. And a shape that can be made in multiple different ways. In fact, it's actually a bit sturdier to use 2 double diamonds and 2 of the blooms. And I'm just going to take those double diamonds, stick them on the underside of my bloom, and put my other one on top here. And that is a bit of a just more magnetically sturdy version of the same shape, and with the same magnetic relevance, by the way. So super fun to mess around with. And I'll just show you, for posterity's sake, the fact that I can take a bunch of those spades. And similarly to the thing that we just did, somehow changing the geometry, well, not somehow, when we change the geometry, we change how many magnets are being used to connect these. So while there are a certain number of magnets on the outside of the cube, there are actually more magnets on the outside of this face right here. Let's see if we can count. So on the outside of the cube, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 magnets. We've got 1 magnet per section in those right triangles. If I open it up out here, on that same plane that we're connecting, we actually have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Double the magnets to make that same connection. And so if you're ever in a situation like that, especially with simple shapes where you can just pivot on the hinge to have something that's an inverse or a mirror or whatever, you can change little things about it to just give yourself a little more strength if that's what you're looking for. Oh yeah, somebody said in the Discord that Octa was not as strong as the rest. And that's why I invited them to join the live, because I wanted to sort of show them that that is not correct. So if you're here, no shame, but Octa has the same magnets as Shashibo. It's fully compatible. They are the exact same strength as the magnets in Shashibo, and so it is often more of a puzzle of figuring out how to get them connected rather than a puzzle of it's not different. It's just a puzzle of figuring out how to get it connected. The Goblin variant Sabit showed a couple days ago really supports some wild Octa connections. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I can't believe they were in the Discord and thinking that. Like, look at the Discord. Look at all of these things that people are making. Same amount of midichlorians in both Ojibwe and Octa. Yeah, exactly. I'm glad you read the same study I did. Yeah. Bro, just think about it, okay? Uh-oh, chat. We're only halfway through the live, and I'm more than halfway through my water. I gotta pace it. I saw that little indentation of which is half of the diamond shape that's in the double diamond, and so I can take that kind of crystal-like shape and get it to just fit right over. Oh, that's so freaking cool. Now let's see. The way that we're making that shape, At least the easiest way for me to get to most shapes is landing zones, right? You've probably heard me talk about these before. So like my bloom is my landing zone for this, and I kind of twist the bloom. And depending on which way I twist the bloom gives me the different chiralities of this shape. And this is the one that I want. I'm going to go same chirality the whole way around. I could also do mirrored and make it more symmetrical. Some people prefer that. I like having it go the same way the whole way around. I also like same colors in same positions the whole way around. Beautiful. That's fun. The Atlas pillar or something, you know? Oh, man. I'm glad we're not doing any speed cubing today, because my fingers are frozen. Temperature dropped in the Midwest this week, so hope y'all are staying warm. I know there's a couple other Midwesterners in the live. Hope you didn't get as much snow as I did. A couple of their points about quantum magnetics are polarizing, to say the least. Nice, JT. Very good puns. Love it. PG variant is fertile ground for octa integration for sure. You know, I don't know what that means. PG variant? Sorry. I don't know. Sorry, yeah. I'm trying to follow along, but you know how slow I can be. Had to get a Shashibo squared in there. You know what? That's what we should have done. We're going to leave that bottom, and we're going to change the top. And the way that we're going to do that is by shuffling around until I see something that inspires me. Now, I know for a fact that shape works, of course. But it's a rather simple connection. So I'd like to find something a little more complicated. Now, this has some potential. It is exactly what I said, the slightest bit more complicated. And I like that it's a loose shape, but once it has that connection and that support, it becomes very sturdy. So let's add some more. I'll try and figure out how to add Pirate Goblin. Oh, PG is Pirate Goblin. I gotcha. As slow as your one-handed cue ball cube. Hey, you do a faster one and then you can talk, yeah. Once you show me that you get, what was my best? Like 8 seconds or something? 9? I'll be generous. 9. Once you show me a sub 10 cue ball cube, you can talk, man. I don't know. I got bored waiting for you to finish. Oh, that's so good. I don't know if any of you are streamers, but get you a mod that trolls you in your comments. Ooh, that's fun. Oh, by the way, guys, a little up, since we've got some regulars in the chat, and anyone who is tuning in for the first time, tune in again with us on Friday this week. I will not be live on Thursday. I will be live on Friday with a special guest. Someone none of you, I don't think, have seen before in a live stream. Well, I know you haven't seen them before in a live stream because they've never done one before. My next thought, dang, I better. Yeah. Listen, it's as soon as I get down in Florida, my hands will warm back up again. I'll get a little feeling in them, and I'll get so fast. But no, my fingers are so stiff right now. Streaming is tough work. Absolutely. Jim is back. What's up, Jim? Welcome back to the chat. Guys, every time I do this build where I add some UFOs. Why could I not remember? UFOs. When I add some UFOs on the top of a build like this, it just looks like shoulder pads to me, and so I want to build arms. But yeah, be sure to tune in Friday, 5 to 7 p.m. I think that the special guest will only be there for about half of the live, but it'll be exciting. Exciting nonetheless. Let's see. JT, anything that I'm missing on the TikTok side? Just checking in. Ooh, I just got a great question from Facebook. What shape is best for beginners? Great question, my friend. You know, I always start with the crown, and one of the reasons that I start with the crown is because it is the shape most people make when they open the Shashibo. So when you have your shape, your Shashibo in the cube, you can kind of see when I squeeze it on either side of these magnetic seams. You can see a magnetic seam on every single face. If you squeeze on the edges on either side of a magnetic seam, see there's a line across, so I squeeze on these edges, starts to come apart. I can just grab one section of my Shashibo cube and pull it straight back into my crown shape. That's one of my faves. Super simple, and it's a great one to connect if you have two, for example. There's so many ways that you can get just this simple shape to connect to itself. One of the reasons that there are so many ways is because the shape is so simple. Wow, that's harder than I thought it would be to say. The shape is so simple. So lots of fun ways to get those connected. But I would say the crown. Now, if you're ready for the next challenge, let's flip that crown around. And you see this section that's still kind of folded up into the cube. We've got a few sections that are on the bottom here folded up into the cube. If I hold on to this top section that I just made into that cool pointy crown, and I grab this section and pull it straight down away from those, not letting this section change at all, I've made the star. This is the best shape to learn, especially early, because I consider it a landing zone, someplace that you can start, that you can go to and recognize where your pathways to get to all the other shapes are. So the star is a great one for that because you can see those three sections on one side of the star, and then you have basically another half of the Shashibo with another three sections. And whenever I change one of those sections, whether that is by opening it on that magnetic seam right there to make this kind of hexagonal tab, just like so, or by taking that section and moving it the opposite way, down, whether that's into the cube shape or pushing it all the way through the middle so that now it's turned inside out. You can see that outside of the cube is now facing in, and we've got this lovely green pattern facing out. I could even follow suit with these two pieces that are left over, pushing them through the middle one at a time, just like so, to make my nice open ring. This is another great landing zone. It's my landing. Those are my two landing zones that I use all the time to get to inside out shapes like the ball or the UFO or the lightning bolt. These are all really fun shapes. And my star is my landing zone to get to the cube or the crown or to get to the hive. All of these are just so beautiful. And then there's ways in between where I can just take one section inside out and leave the others right side out. Or maybe take two of them inside out and leave that one leftover section right side out and make some really cool stuff. So I hope you have fun exploring with your new Shashibo. All right, let me catch up on comments because so much happened since then. The Mystic Ocean makes great shoulder pads. I wasn't missing much, apparently. Crown and ball. Oh yeah. So the ball is definitely a next level shape, but you saw me flip that Shashibo inside out. The ball is really the most important thing is being gentle. So we want to be purposeful but gentle as we shape our ball. And the reason for that is because we want to keep this really nice interior hollow section while we sculpt the rest of the Shashibo around that hollow space. And if we we could do all of the right steps, but if we kind of push too much, then it's all going to get collapsed into this snaky shape, or maybe this shape right here. Oh, that I can't even make on accident, apparently. This shape right here that's all squiddy, or somewhere in between. Anytime that you accidentally squish it all up, just remember to find those magnetic seams. That's where you want to start. And then start to open it back up, getting it as loose as possible. Loose is always helpful when you're getting into Shashibo shapes. We always say when you're manipulating Shashibo, if it doesn't flow, it doesn't go, which means as long as you don't force it, you are going to be just fine, okay? But if you find yourself having to force it to get into a shape, and it probably doesn't want to go in that shape, okay? So, super fun. I like showing the leaf to first timers. That is a really fun one. It's got quite a few extra steps though. So if I don't know if we'll start there for teaching, but we'll learn it another time. Yeah, and JT are just sniping back and forth. Oh my goodness. When you say crown, is that what it's called? No, that is the name of this shape that you can make with your Shashibo. If you want to order this on our website, it's called a Shashibo, and then we have a ton of different colors for Shashibo, but you want to make sure you're buying Shashibo. We have other cubes like a Cubendi or a Duomoto or an Octa or a Shashibo Squared or something like that. I would start with a Shashibo. You could use this link right down here. Scan that QR code if you can. Or visit our website, funinmotiontoys.com. And we are currently running some pretty crazy discounts because there are some really amazing things that you can do with Shashibo when you collect them so that you can find all sorts of cool connections between them. And you can do this pretty much infinitely. As many as you happen to have on hand, that's as many as you can put together, continuing to build out your collection so that you can make these really cool things. And we have some quantity discounts going on right now. So you can get 10% off of 2 Shashibo, 15 off of 3, 20 off of 4, 25 off of 5, and 30% off of 6, which are some of the craziest discounts that we have ever done. So check it out. I personally fell in love with Shashibo while I was working at a toy store. Not only was it just kind of a fun thing to keep my hands busy while I was doing inventory or maybe just sitting there bored on a slow day at the toy store, but it was also something that felt calming and relaxing to fidget with, as well as I learned that it was building my spatial reasoning, my problem-solving skills, and, if you'll pardon the pun, really reinforcing the need to think outside the box, you know? To get creative with it, as opposed to locking myself into feeling like I need to solve this thing or something like that. You can get it into the cube. That's fine and fun, and it's a great, satisfying shape. But really the magic to this is continuing to explore so that you can find all of the infinite possibilities that there are to discover and master when you collect and connect with Shashibo. I missed a comment from Jim a second ago asking to make the wheel. I'd love to make the wheel, my friend. That would be lots of fun. I'm going to do it quick, though, because I have done a tutorial I've done tutorials of this a bunch of times, so I know that they're out there, not too hard to find. Check it out on TikTok or YouTube. I know that I've got tutorials of how to make the wheel. There's a whole playlist of tutorials on TikTok and on YouTube, so check it out there. But, oh, do I want to see how fast I can make it? My fingers are so cold; it's not going to be very fast, guys. But let's see how fast. Let's see how fast cold fingers can make Ezra's wheel. It's going to be fun. And then, my friend, I will absolutely make something out of Shashibo square. Alrighty. I'm timing myself using the really cool mat and timer. The mat protects my table. The timer keeps track of how long it takes me to do things. It keeps track of when my hands leave those two pressure pads and when they both return to the pressure pads. And you can actually save some cool times. It's a really fun little thing to check out. And $30 for a really high quality timer that's got some cool Shashibo on it and this really nice mat. It's got this nice rubber bottom so that it doesn't slide around on your table with your build, that kind of thing. I find that it's a really nice accessory to any avid Shashibo collector. So feel free to check it out. And I'm going to see how quick I can turn these 8 Shashibo, these ones right here that are behind that mat and timer thing. Man, I wish we could move that up to the top. I'm going to see how quickly I can turn those 8 Shashibo into swans and then get them all connected. Ready, steady, go. Okay. A little stiff, that's all right. No! I knocked a bunch of them on the floor. That's okay. Not going to be a very good time, but under a minute still. Not bad. 52 seconds. But I knocked a bunch of them on the floor, so definitely not my best run. Super fun, though. And there it goes again. People are gonna think I'm faking cold hands here, and like, yeah, you can't make this stuff up, folks. I'm just that clumsy. All right, let's make some stuff out of Shashibo squared. Why not? It's the way that we build bigger, faster. R&B is as close as I can get because squinting your eyes and shaking your head, it kind of sounds like it. That's funny. Favorite Ezra wheel is the one from the trade fair. Guys, that was before I worked with Fun in Motion Toys. That was the second time that I met JT. And basically when I got this job, I met King Ravana there. That's when I showed them the Ezra wheel. Or that's when I showed them the wheel. And they called it mine, which was super fun. I thought we were staying away from speed cubing. Listen, I tried to. I couldn't help myself, okay? I really like that hook build that we did last week. Oh, you know what's a fun build with Shashibo squared? So I'm making 2 different shapes here. First, I'm going to take these two sections of my Shashibo squared and pull them straight apart from each other like so. That's the easiest way to get to this shape. And the shape that we're making is flat on this side. You can isolate it easily by just setting it down on your table. But it's essentially just taking those sections and opening up like so. You can also open it up this way into this kind of pillar shape and then just open it on that hinge. Super easy shape to make. It's loose, but it won't be once I make this guy right here. So we're gonna get to the same landing zone. We're gonna make that same shape. We're just gonna take that bottom and top section and tuck them in like so. And then I can connect them in that same right angle that's available right there. And then I'm gonna do the same thing up top. Just gonna make another one of those. And then I'm going to take my column, open it up, make my second one of these, and place that just right on top. And then you get that kind of like really cool hollow space right through the middle. Kind of a cool hollow space on the top. You can even fold these pieces in now. That's a really fun thing to make. That's 4 Shashibo squared. Oh my word, yes. We have been pushing for it. Oh, shoot. I didn't even know that. Guys, if you buy a Shashibo right now, you get 30% off of Shashibo squared as an offer for getting them both at the same time. But yeah, I would love to do a shape summit again. Yeah, every time I watch that video of me showing how to do the wheel at that toy fair, it's so funny because I don't remember making that. Like, not because of anything crazy. Really, just that day was so adrenaline-inducing, and there were so many of the craziest things that have ever happened to me in that day. And so I got kind of overwhelmed with the thing, and it's really nice to have videos of it, like the race with Andreas and JT, and that tutorial of the wheel that I did with Lawrence Gartell was really helpful because I was feeling all sorts of crazy at that time. So the next time that you see that video, just know that I was hopped up on so much adrenaline and having one of the craziest days of my life. Ooh, I like that. Puts a little pressure on the stickers, but not too much. If I just bring it up like so, and I can let it collapse. We have it spiral out like that. Pull these pieces out. And then, if you've ever seen people in the Discord with crazy amounts of build, this is how it starts. It's just like, oh, this looks cool, wander, 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 and you just keep adding stuff until it's massive. I mean, I know that some of David's are premeditated, maybe some of yours are King Nirvana, but I'll be upfront with you guys right now. Mine are not. mine are found along the way. Oh, King Nirvana, I relate. Wish I'd been there a couple more days, but money and work. Yeah, man, same. Ooh, I could also fold. Now that's a little. Hang on. I gotta back up. Chat, why would you let me get ahead of myself like that? Okay, so. Yeah, that's cool. I can just take this, fold this piece out, like so, and fold it down like that. Same thing here. That's pretty nice. Whoa, that's fun. I like that. Whoa. I'm going to use another glossy design, guys. Don't worry. Yeah, I like to go impromptu as well. Same, man. Nice. And then the obvious Shashibo squared edition here is, or at least to me, probably the eye, or oh no, the heart, because that is the eye. And so just go with this heart. Oh my goodness. Nice. That's fun. Ooh. That's kind of cool. See, this is probably something that, I mean, it only needs to have this one relevance to qualify as a shape, right? That's an octa shape that we definitely did not identify. That one I think we did. That's so cool. Not quite enough space to add a shark fin in there, but I could of course add some bow ties. It's this guy right here on the other side. It's a nice little addition. Yeah, dude, the summit would be so sick. Just have a few hundred Shashibo and explore. Break off into groups with different subsections and all that kind of stuff. It would be so much fun. I can't wait until we can make it happen. King Evans says, do you know how to do the leapfrog? Yeah, man, I got you. We're going to take our Shashibo, we're going to squeeze on either side of any one of these magnetic seams. I'm going to grab one section of my Shashibo and pull it straight back into the crown shape. And to make the leapfrog, what I'm going to do is open that crown shape hinge like a book, pulling it all the way back, just like so. And then while I hold on to this top section, I'm still going to let it open up a little bit so that I'm not holding it tight. I'm just trying to keep it in relatively the same shape. I pull this piece, the bottom part of the spaceship, which is the shape we just made, down to make my slack-jawed hive. And then I take just this tab. I don't take the whole section like I had. I take just this tab and push it back up to be where it was. And that is how we make our leapfrog, which is a great shape. It's got so much relevance, not just to itself, but also to some other shapes. One of my favorites being itself, when you can make the Shashibo logo right there, the S. You could also make a lovely heart. You can also get it woven in with your Shashibo crown, or with others and a star. There's a ton of cool ways to use it. Shashibo Summit 26. I got my car inspected today, so I can roll anywhere for another year. Nice, dude. I have to get a better roll case to haul Shashibo. Yeah, dude. I needed just a couple luggage cases to bring some Shashibo. You'll have to get a sticker or something so you can identify all of yours. If we're gonna be combine them in a big build or something. I do really, before I leave the leapfrog, it's a really nice connection. My friend Evans says, can I show you a shape that I don't think nobody knows about it, the octocube? Feel free to post anything to the Discord. Are you in the Discord, King Evan? If not, join the link that's about to get dropped down here in the chat, man. We'd love to see you there. And then you can show us that awesome thing. There's this shape that's right off of the leapfrog. It's also named after an animal. It's where we take that, I guess, back frog in the leapfrog, pull it straight back into the slack-jawed hive, and then fold it so that your outside of the cube is facing out. This we call the squirrel. See, he's got a big bushy tail and a little nose. Man, we've done so many cool little builds tonight. This has been fun. I just got an error. Sorry, guys. I just got an error message, JT, and my feed is getting super glitchy. Okay, yeah. Okay, lagging, still on. All right, thank you, friends. Sorry, the stream is being glitchy. I don't know what's going on. Oh, wow, it seems like it's getting worse on my end. Is that... It might be what my Wi-Fi is the problem, since we're having some winter weather up here. I don't know how many of you live in the Midwest or in a place that gets snow, but the first snow of every year is always a disaster as people try and figure out how to do this again. Like, come on, we just did this a few months ago. There was a foot of snow and we were all doing fine. But we get 3 inches for the first time in the new cold winter months, and everyone's like, wait, do I know what to do? It was frozen. I went back out and came in. Hey, thanks for hanging out. Yeah, we had some bad lagging. Feel free to let me know if that happens again. I do not live in North Carolina, my friend. I live in Ohio. Northern Ohio. Ohio, as we like to say. Well, not the Northerners. They don't say that. I wonder if I can mirror this build. I don't think so. Anyway, my friend who asked for a Shashibo squared build, here we go. We made a couple. Some pretty satisfying ones too. So that's the shape with Shashibo squared that I don't think that we had identified yet, because it's hard to tell what would keep it rigid, but we just found something. It's two of these in series with another support down here, I imagine, is a big help. So that's a really fun one. I imagine that, like you can take shapes like the bow tie with the Shashibo. I imagine there's some with the Shashibo squared, and you could also get those, since they flex on that hinge, to connect at different angles the whole way around. Let's do that for a second. Ooh, interesting. So I'm not going to do that one yet. I'm going to add it out here. Nice. We do that on the underside on both sides. Nice. And I can keep adding those at weird angles, and that is fun. I think that's cool. King Nirvana used to be Indiana. I moved a little over a year ago. So I've been up in Northern Ohio for a while now. I gotta figure out something to keep this thing balanced. What did I have it on before? It was standing up. Maybe it was at an angle still. Oh, guys. King Evans is asking if we could drop the Discord. Would love to drop the Discord. JT, would you mind putting that in the YouTube chat? Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to leave it at that until I figure out a support. Which is funny because the underside looks a little like the double I. It isn't, but it does look similar. You could also put a couple on the inside here. Kind of cool build. Ooh, you could do that with the puzzle piece actually as well. That would be interesting. That way it doesn't get in its own way and you could add more, I think. Oh no, it would still run into itself in just a different place this time. So that's interesting as well. You know? It's the further you get into Shashibo, the more you realize that sometimes it's about learning what you can't do instead of learning what you can do, because honestly that's an easier question to answer. Because what you can do is practically infinite, as opposed to what you can't do, which you can list very quickly, I imagine. I'd have to do some more. I'd have to like write that down, figure it out. But my other Shashibologist, I'm right? Like, Shashibo is just so limitless. And these are the kinds of discussions that we can engage in at the Shape Summit. One of the summits has to be at an actual summit. Shape Summit Mount Everest or something, you know? That would be pretty extreme. There we go. Figured out how to get it to stand, guys. All it takes is a box with one tab open, and that tab just happens to fit right in that missing space down there. And boom, now we can get it facing upright and we can add more of our shapes in. So I'm gonna, stop. I'm gonna add my puzzle pieces. My kind of in-between puzzle pieces. Ooh, I could pop out that spot right there. That gives it an interesting new look. Now that I have it propped up, I could add some stuff on the outside here, so I'll do that. Blue Ridge Mountains. I would much prefer Blue Ridge Mountains to Everest for sure. King Evans, I can approve your application after I'm not live anymore, okay? Oh, Fun Emotion Toys went and did it. Cassandra woke up. Oh my gosh. Look at that. That's really fun, man. And all of those are like in-between shapes. Not really stuff that qualifies or that we would probably bother with qualifying unless we find more and more ways that they're relevant. Just some really cool ways of getting them connected. It's super fun. A fidget with more finesse. Exactly, my friend. Exactly. You just made JT so happy. All right. There's another cool one. All right. I am ending the live stream pretty soon, guys. So if you have any more specific requests while you still got me here, holler at me. Let me know what you want to see. Do we need any more tutorials? Do you want to see a build with any certain number of Shashibo? While I wait for you guys to let me know, I do want to show a, I feel like underappreciated series of Shashibo. We don't see these as often, mostly because I don't have a ton of them. But these are the Wild series of Shashibo. So if you're looking for a gift or you've got someone who really loves some animals, then check out these. We've got Savannah, little biome here. When you get them in the dodecahedron, then you get this really cool little animal biome with a ton of different animals from each of those different regions. We also have a jungle one with the orangutan and the snake. We get inside out into the ball. Get a nice little jungle scene with a sloth and a red panda. Arctic, another beautiful one. And last but not least, we've got forest. Just some fun extra cubes. You don't get to see those every day. Oh my goodness, Cassandra loves Wild Series. I'm catching up here. Yeah, I used some broken lockjawed stars in a build this week. Sort of an in-between shape was a nice connection. Nice, dude. How about a 12 octa build? I would if I could, man. I've only got 8. And like King Ravana, yeah, if we sell 400 Shashibo octa in this live, I will walk down to Florida and get some more octa and show you guys a 12 Shashibo build. I'm bluffing. I'll drive. Yeah, exactly. Actually, Fun and Motion Toys doesn't pay me, guys. I do a certain amount of work and I get a certain amount of cubes and I collect all of my cubes so I can build my house out of cubes eventually, and then I will live in shape-shifting oblivion. You too can feed a starving Ezra with just 100 Shashibos. Oh my goodness. Yeah, Cassandra's got her bulletproof umbrella because of the falling iguanas down in Florida. Oh, guys, that's so funny. I want to find this kind of in between lockjawed star shape. I imagine it's something where it's kind of like twisted a little bit like that, maybe in a weird way. I know that you can fold it down all the way to get some cool shapes in here. Anybody remember what the Greek mythology based horses that have like a mermaid tail, essentially? I cannot remember what those are called. But that's what this reminds me of. Like, it looks like it looks like an animal on this side with a fishtail. But that's a cool shape as well. Yep, the first one. Kind of a just slightly down. Yeah, I can see some possible. Ooh, you know what I want to test with that is kind of connecting them at a rotating angle. Oh, you see, you guys, you just can't help but learn stuff with this thing, man. I see something that looks similar and then I find out why it isn't, you know? This is a shape that I want to mess around with more. Not the, what have we been calling it? It's the knot or something, the quarter anchor. But when you pivot it 180 degrees, what is that, 180 degrees? No, 90 degrees. When you open it 90 degrees. But I need a mirrored version so that I can connect them Because I know, of course, that when I do this, it's just going to look exactly the same as when I connect to knots. But I just think it's interesting that you get this really solid connection between two shapes. And then you can see it just wobbles on that anchor, on that angle right there, which is how you can tell that essentially if I smush down these two back halves, I'm gonna have to sort of speed up the process for you, but just end up with, this, I believe. Either that or this. Either one cool. I think it's that. Hippocampus, thank you. So you better not mention that again, LOL. Is it possible to make an Ezra's wheel with 8 Ezra's wheels? Great question, my friend. No. You can't weave 8 Ezra's wheels together. However, there are ways to. Sorry, I'm looking down. This is where I can read your guys' comments. This is where you are, though. There's not a way that I know of to weave 8 Ezra's wheels together, but there is a way to add that chain, that link of a bunch of swans, into a bigger wheel and wrap them around each other a little bit. There's some interesting stuff there to explore for sure. But I am not aware of being able to weave a bunch of wheels together. Oh, I don't know, Adam Sandler. Sorry, yeah, that's on me. I mean, I know who it is. I just don't know a lot of the stuff that he does. Be an interesting one. I'm taking some of my snakes here, completely inside out. I am letting it fold down into this kind of semicircle, but then I'm tucking this section in and making sure that I'm in the same chirality. And I'm just adding stuff on like that. It doesn't get me quite where I really want it to be, but I don't think it's the furthest thing. I mean, I could, of course, do just 3 of them like so. Not the sturdiest of connections. Ooh. You know what I wonder? I tuck all of these down. Let me see if I can make another one of these real quick. Kimba, thanks for hanging. Have a good night, my friend. I don't know what King Ravana's 5 Ezra wheels is in response to, but it's making me laugh. Because it kind of sounds like you're saying, like, okay, so you can't weave 8 Ezra's wheels together, but can you weave 5 Ezra's wheels together? The answer is going to be, again, no, my friend. Okay, so you see how these tails are kind of tucked into a little tight spiral right here? These wiggle, but I pushed them in so that they are all in the center. I'm going to do the same thing here, and since they're in the same chirality, I should be able to merge them face to face, like so. Ooh, but it's going to be a tricky and fragile build. So I'm going to get these guys out of the way for right now. And you know what I could do to get them out of my way? Could add some Shashibo in there. Who knew I was going to say that? Yeah, that's a tough one, guys. You know? It might be for another night when I've got more than just a few minutes at the end of the stream. It would be a cool merge, but I'll sort of show you the direction I was going in case anyone wants to explore it on their own at home. And this is one of my favorite 2 Shashibo combinations. I did not come up with this. Somebody at a juggling association, at the International Jugglers Association Festival, came up and showed me this combo, and I thought it was just so cool. And so it's made using this shape. You can see that similar spiral that I had made earlier. And we can make that from our opening ring, collapsing all of those sections into the middle so that we have this 3-way parsing instead of the 2-way parsing of the snake. I actually have 3 different sections. And then I can pull those apart from each other just like so, and have them going in a spiral like that. And I want to make sure that they're going in the same spiral, because then I take them end to end, just like so, and push them together. And you get this really cool little gap the whole way around, but it's magnetically sealed. Just a really cool 2 Shashibo shape. And that's what I'm going to leave you guys on. Thanks for hanging out so much tonight. Appreciate all of your time and all of your attention. And I will see you guys Friday night with a special guest. Can't wait to see you there. Have a good night.